Well, we're a little past halfway at training camp in St. Joseph, Missouri, as Kansas City, the Chiefs, get ready for their 67th season. But the pads are on again here at camp. And in this episode of Defending the Kingdom, even our own Matt McMullen is in pads for this episode. It's brought to you by Mosaic, the official presenting sponsor of Kansas City Chiefs training camp here in St. Joseph.
Mahomes in the pocket, he'll step up, he'll scramble 10, 5, Mahomes, diving touchdown, Kansas City!
10x.ai is the official cybersecurity partner of the Kansas City Chiefs. In this city, we know that championship success starts with defense. 10x.ai is the AI security operations provider, protecting organizations from cybersecurity attacks at machine speed with human analysts on the loop 24/7. Experience cybersecurity that is AI native and human-led, united against every threat. Visit 10x.ai for details. And hi, everyone. I'm Mitch Holthus, voice of the Chiefs, along with Padded Up, Matt McMullen.
Let's go.
Who's the director of editorial content as well as senior team reporter. That means you put the pads on. You got them. You look good in pads.
I wonder how much ridicule can I open myself up to? We're going to find out. 2 years in a row now, the social team has no faith in me. They think I can't go out there and catch some balls in the jugs machine and do some punt return, go through the gauntlet. So I'm up for the challenge. So after this, I'm going to do some drills. We'll see how I do.
We know a lot of you, most of you just listen to Defending the Kingdom, but more and more you're going to want to watch and listen to Defending the Kingdom. And this episode is a perfect example why. Because if you're just listening, you may want to find the video portion of this because Matt is padded up for this episode. But the Chiefs went 3 straight days in pads, then a 10-10-10, right back to pads. Then we just finished that practice here. We're on the practice field as we speak. Your thought as it starts to feel like the dog days of camp.
Yeah, it's really kind of the Groundhog Day sort of vibe now. This is always difficult because you think about Coach Reid's process. It's all about pushing and pulling and really pushing the guys for 3 straight days in pads, which, keep in mind, the guys had not been in pads all offseason. The league rules don't allow that. So first time in pads since last season ended, and then you do it 3 straight days. Kind of a lighter day yesterday, more of a mental day. But now you're back in pads today. How do you respond to that? And, I mean, it's hot out here. You could tell the guys are kind of going through it. It's 2 hours and 25 minutes. We've finished the ramp up. No more kind of easing into it. It's all about these long practices in the heat and in pads. But saw some good things overall. And this is when true football evaluation can take place because guys can go out there and look good in shorts. They can look good on the first couple of days of pads, but who really flashes on days like this? Those are the guys that are going to make your team and make a difference later on in the year.
Matt and I have seen this syllabus. This is the 14th year that Coach has been here, and it's a great point that you make of the ramp up, take a breath, and then ramp back up again. But it's all a series of taking pop quizzes throughout the semester. And your point's a really good one. This is a pop quiz. After a 10-10-10 no pad shells practice to come right back out. After it, how do guys respond? The next one will be, and we'll talk about it, after the first preseason game because it's back here in St. Joseph and back for time in pads. So it's just a series of these tests, physically, mentally, and emotionally. And those of you watching or listening hear the obligatory lawnmower in the background, which tells you we're not virtually doing this.
No, we're here. We're on the field right now. You know, one thing that we were talking about before we started shooting is the amazing condition the field is in. It's incredible, the condition they keep this field in. It's not easy. I mean, the guys are out here every single day, but the field looks great.
Yeah, and our players love this surface. It's a rye Bermuda mix. It's a tight surface, fast surface, natural grass. And Travis Hogan does an incredible job with all of his guys and gals. In fact, we share the dorm with them. They get a little crazy, sometimes a little steam off, but they're awesome in what they do. We're going to get into, in this episode, some of the guys that we have seen kind of rise up in pads. And there have been a few surprises with this. I'm going to start with Chamari Connor. Chamari Connor is now back in a safety position where he's facing the play. Last year he played a lot of slot, kind of a hybrid safety slot corner position, but many times, depending on the coverage and depending on the scheme, he had to turn his back to the play or turn his hips or turn his shoulders. Right now, for the most time, he's seeing the play in front of him with his shoulders square to the line of scrimmage. In pads, that turns him loose. We have seen him make physical plays. We've seen him make plays on the ball and skills. He's thrilled because this is the way he was 2 years ago. And remember his game-defining play against the Cincinnati Bengals that essentially won that game.
Yeah, think about early in Shamari's career. He was always around the football. That play against the Bengals comes to mind, but also the interception against Josh Allen against the Bills a couple years ago. And then in the playoffs that year, I think Mike Edwards got hurt on the very first snap of the game, and Shamari had to go in and played really well in lieu of Mike Edwards. We know Shamari can be a really effective safety in the NFL. He's been playing a lot of the slot position the last couple of years, and that's a really tough position to play. I think having more slot-centric players in camp this year has been a major benefit for him. We have guys like Chris Roland Wallace, Kader Kohu, and Jaden Kennedy, who can all go in the slot and play really effective football. That lets Shamari go back to playing more of a traditional safety role. And yeah, like you said, he's talked about how much he loves playing just safety, and he's been around the football like we're used to seeing with him when he's playing safety throughout this camp. Had multiple takeaways. We mentioned on the live stream a few days ago when there was a tip ball at the line of scrimmage, he was the one that went down with the football. Some guys just find themselves around the ball. Mike Edwards was that way too, just kind of always around the football. And when Shamari is playing safety, kind of feels like he's always around the football. So I think, with our secondary overall, we've talked about how it has the potential to be maybe even deeper this year if guys can reach their full potential. I think having players that can fill that slot role and allow Shamari to go back and play traditional safety again just makes this group better and deeper. So I'm pretty excited about that.
Yeah, the play you mentioned, the interception, happened at the goal line. I also saw him in red zone fill a gap and physical against the run against Brashard Smith. So, again, with the pads on, Shamari Connor looks very good. Another guy, and I was curious how he'd be because I think he's on a bit of a meteoric rise here. I guess that doesn't make sense. He's a meteoric rise. That's the left guard, Kingsley Suamatia. And with the pads on, he looks fast and he looks physical. Whether he's pulling or doing it play side, I think we have an emerging story there because we know the other two guys to his right, Trey Smith and Creed Humphrey, are Pro Bowl level players. But Kingsley's playing like he could be a potential Pro Bowler.
I think he looks comfortable and confident. Think about last year. He was kind of learning the position on the fly. Did a little bit of it at the end of the season a couple years ago. And remember Zach Allen in that Week 18 game didn't have a single pressure on Carson Wentz in that one and told Kingsley afterward, hey, you're pretty good at this. It was Kingsley's first ever start at guard. Then last year was kind of an experiment. Can he do that throughout the entire year? And the answer is yes. I think he showed us some really good things throughout the season, but it was still new to him. I think he's coming into this camp. You can tell he's comfortable and confident in his ability. He knows what he's doing. And one thing we always talk about is the importance of guys being able to go out there and play fast. You're not thinking too much. And I don't think Kingsley has to think too much right now. He knows how to play the position. He can go out there and play fast, and we're seeing it so far. And we had high hopes, but again, before the pads come on, it's just impossible to evaluate these guys. Since the pads came on earlier this week, we've been pretty impressed.
Yeah, we got something going on there with the offensive line. Another one is tight end Noah Gray. He's had a really good camp and arguably his best camp yet. But once the pads came on, he just looks physically different. You just talked to him, and we're going to feature him on a live stream. You can find that too. But the fact that Noah looks more physical, he's made better plays, 2 wonderful catches in the red zone a couple days ago. But Noah looks like he's poised. Remember that spurt he had a couple years ago? And if he can take the heat off, and he and Walker both, take the heat off Kelsey in the red zone especially, then you're not going to have guys like biting, pinching, and just driving 3 guys into the ground with Kels. If Noah Gray's a threat on a consistent basis, and to be physical. Keep in mind, he has to do a lot of things. I just talked to him about the fact that he has to play inline tight end, he has to play slot. But people go, what if you have to use a fullback? He's the fullback. He's the H-back of this team.
Yeah.
But he's better suited to do it because I think he looks better physically, especially the upper body. And when the pads came on, he's played really, really well.
That practice a few days ago that you're talking about was reminiscent of when he had 4 touchdowns in 2 weeks, 2 against the Bills and then 2 against the Panthers. It looked a lot like that Bills game because all of his touchdowns were red zone touchdowns. I think he had 4 total if you include 7-on-7. He was just everywhere in the red zone a couple days ago, and that's the kind of player he can be. His numbers dipped a little bit last year, but rewind the clock 2 years ago, just a really effective weapon for this team, especially in the red zone. And I think this is where having an effective running game is going to help everybody, because if you have an effective running game in goal to go or red zone situations, it's going to open up situations and opportunities, I think, for players like Noah. Jared Wiley has looked really good throughout this camp as well. Looks strong, looks physical. Keep in mind, all of last year, he was kind of rehabbing that knee injury. His rookie season was wiped out by that, and last year didn't appear until halfway through the season. And even then, still kind of getting your confidence back. He looks strong. He looks physical, and he's looked good throughout this camp. And Jake Brenningstool is another one where you kind of put him on the shelf last year, got hurt in training camp. We were so excited about what he could do, but got hurt in mid-August. But he's back now and looked great. Made a lot of highlight reel kind of catches up the middle. So the whole tight end room in general, we don't have a lot of bodies right now. Not a super deep room in terms of personnel, but the players that we do have behind Travis Kelce, obviously, have been pretty impressive, and I'm excited about those guys. Let's keep it going now into the preseason.
They're asked to do so much in the tight end position and tons of blocking. That's what we don't always pinpoint because we want to see the catches and the yards and the touchdowns, but they must block. And in the case of both Noah Gray and Jared Wiley, Matt, they've got to be impact special teams players. They have to become, if not 4-core, 3-core, 2-core special teams players. And we've seen Noah do it. If Jared Wiley can do it on a consistent basis, all of a sudden that tight end room can have more impact than fans think. But to me, it's not a luxury. It's a necessity from those guys to make the jump.
Yeah, I think so, too. And really, with Wiley and with Brenningstool, I think they were kind of wild cards coming into this camp. Like, what do we have there? Just because we haven't seen them a lot on the field, and I've come away pleasantly surprised by both of them, where I think we might have something in both those guys. I was really excited about Wiley a couple of years ago because at TCU, he led all FBS tight ends in touchdown grabs. I was like, this guy can be a red zone weapon for us. Well, the injury happens. He's a rookie, and then, like I said, wipes out most of last season as well. We just haven't had a chance to really see what he can do. And really in this camp, he looks healthy, looks strong, getting a lot of looks. So we'll see if that continues now into the preseason.
Another one, this may not be a surprise, but once the pads went on here, George Karlaftis took off. There was Tuesday practice with short yardage. They did some goal line, and the offense did a really good job. Enter Noah Gray had a touchdown catch in short yardage. But the defense kind of felt some pressure to respond with the next day and a lot of red zone work, long drive drill, and George Karlaftis was spectacular. And the fact that he can play physically, we know that what he can do. There's a lot of sacks, passes tipped. He's making some big plays in the playoffs in the regular season. But I talked to him offline a bit about just him being more physical. He's kind of the defensive version of Noah Gray in a way, in the fact when the pads came on, though, George has really shown up. He's shown quickness and strength.
You think George likes having a player like Peter Woods in the middle?
He's another one, though, when the pads came on.
Oh, yeah.
Because you and I were both wondering, Peter, wow, looks like Aaron Donald. What about the pads? Better in pads.
Yeah, Peter Woods is legit. Spags will say that he has a long way to go, and there's a lot of little things he needs to clean up. But the talent is obviously there, and Peter Woods is going to be a good player for us. Kairos Tonga as well, and Omar Norman-Lott when he's back healthy. But all those guys help George Karlaftis because last year, outside of Chris Jones, we just didn't have a lot of push on the interior of our defensive line, and that puts a lot of pressure on players like George, where they're being double-teamed. You just don't have a chance to really get to the quarterback. I think looking at this year with the talent we have on the interior, in addition to Chris Jones, it's going to open up so many opportunities for players like George, Ashton Gelati, and R. Mason Thomas.
Yeah, and so we continue to look, too, for special teams players. And, again, those are played in space, right? You got to play in space. But when you put the pads on, I always get stunned when fans will try to put on pads like you've got on today.
I got them on.
And just try to walk.
I've got a helmet here, too. I think Mitch should put on the helmet. Unfortunately, we have the headset. It's not going to work.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I got the helmet ready to go.
Yeah, I think I'll sleep in that tonight.
If I told 12-year-old me that I could put one of these on, do you know what I would say? But here we are. I got a visor even. How about that?
Oh, my gosh. That's so cool. But we've watched then on special teams, too, some guys that could potentially – and these are some sleeper guys. But Kevin Knowles, who now wears 35. He wore 38, but now LeJerry Sneed's back on the roster, so he had to yield the number. But a guy like Melvin Smith, and people don't know who he is. He's been around a while, practice squad. But guys like that show up physically on special teams when the pads are on are guys that end up making plays throughout the season.
Big-time speed from Melvin Smith. Southern Arkansas grad. I think
D2, baby. D2.
Yeah, I think he had a lot of production in terms of like pick sixes and big-time returns because of his explosive ability. He's a great athlete, and I feel like I mention this every episode now, but one of your trademark terms is crock pot guy. Well, Melvin Smith is a great great example of that because spent all of last season on the practice squad, undrafted free agent before that. You bring him into the system, gets to be around this defense, be around Steve Spagnuolo, see how the whole thing works. And now he has a chance to maybe make the team. We'll see how he does throughout the rest of training camp and the preseason. But yeah, Melvin Smith is turning heads up here, I'd say, and let's see if he can keep it going.
I've always wanted to do this, always, throughout my life, is this. Let's go. Let's go.
Let's go, baby.
Like we're getting ready to run on the field.
Yeah,
I always
we're ready
told
to
Matt
roll.
I wish he's back in Smith Center with me. We ran on the field to take on the heathen Phillipsburg Panthers, but I kind of feel that way today.
I always thought I could be like a Danny Woodhead type of player,
yeah.
little scat back.
Sure.
Yeah, Austin
You got
Eckler,
it.
I can do it.
You can do that. That's perfect fit. Just on our team, not on the other team.
Not on the Chargers, no.
No. I hated Austin Eckler with him, but love
Yes.
him on any other team. Except our team's in their division.
Yeah.
But anyway, there you go. We wanted to have a special Defending the Kingdom to talk about pads. And if you follow me at all on X/Twitter, you know the day before pads, it's a tradition, right? And I've done it for years. The day before pads, I always put tomorrow, ... pads, and look at the field. If you've played football at any level, the day before you start practicing pads, your stomach churns. But once you put them on, man, there's nothing like it.
Yeah, you're ready to go. And you find out, once again, who is going to be a player for us, OTAs are one thing. The first week or so of training camp is one thing. But these days, particularly after you've put the pads on and taken them off and now put them back on, you find out who's going to help us win. It's exciting.
So we'll close this way. For your spouse, for an anniversary gift, go buy them a full set of NFL pads.
Do it.
And put it on and walk around the block and go, how's that feel? How you doing? So then you
Tackle
get
some dudes,
Yeah. Tackle. The Amazon driver comes up, whammo, tackle him. And, and bring out the donut, do some practice tackling, invite the neighbors over. Nothing like it because it's life. And thanks to the folks at Mosaic that make this possible here at training camp. They're spectacular. They've been great help to you and me as well. But Mosaic's the official presenting sponsor of Chiefs training camp. But go get the pads on and turn the neighborhood upside down.